Superstars, how's it going? This is Coach Wood, and we have an action-packed week planned for you guys of content. We're going to serve on a high level this week. I'm excited about the topics that we're going to be talking about. We're going to get into today's shortly, but hopefully you guys had an amazing weekend. I don't know when you're viewing this content, but I'm fresh off of my weekend, my wife's birthday. It was a great weekend. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend and we are ready to get back to that grind, baby. Most of you guys haven't even stopped off your grind. You were working all weekend, so that's what I like to think about. But if you did take a break this weekend, we're going to get back to the grind, baby. So welcome to the show. I'm your host, Coach Terrence Wood. If you're joining us for the very first time, please consider hitting that subscribe button so that you can be notified whenever we release new content on behalf of Before You Go Pro. If you can't tell by the background, this is a football channel. This is where we talk football for the athletes that are in the midst of the hunt, that are getting after it, whether you're in high school, junior college, prep school. This is for you. Also for the families of the football players, because this is a family journey and many of you guys are putting in sleepless nights and driving places and investing your dollars to help these young football players make their dreams come true. So this is who that is for. Also, you coaches out there and you fans of the game, you're going to enjoy the content that we have as well. If you haven't already, consider hitting the subscribe button and then also check out the description box because we've got some special resources for you guys. But let's get into today's topic, you guys, to kick off the week. This one is one that I thought was good. I'm actually stealing this from Brandon Huffman. Used to be with 24/7 Sports. Now he's with Rivals. If you know anything about the high school recruiting game, then Brandon Huffman is probably a name that you know. Well, we have the Locker Room Show on Thursdays, and we had a great show with Brandon. If you did not check that out and you are an athlete that's trying to get to the scholarship, trying to get to the PWO, or a parent of an athlete trying to get to the scholarship of the PWO, check out that Locker Room Show with Brandon Huffman. But he said something that definitely stuck out to me during the show. And he said, create a reputation worth recruiting. Create a reputation, you guys, worth recruiting. I thought, wow, that is big. That was the perfect way to put it. And it makes you think, because a lot of you young athletes don't really understand. You think it's just football. You think it's just stats. You think it's just measurables. And somebody eventually is going to have to stand on the table for you. Somebody is going to have to put their own reputation on the line. I do that for our athletes, the coaches that are with me working with Before You Go Pro. We do that for our athletes. We put our name on the line. We pick up the phone, we DM, we email, we talk face to face with coaches about the athletes that we represent with Before You Go Pro. The young men that we have said, hey, we want to stand on the table for these young men. But if you're not with Before You Go Pro, somebody's going to have to do that on your behalf. Somebody's going to have to do that on your behalf. If it's your 7-on-7 coach, your QB trainer, some of you guys are with the Chris Saylor kicking deal, your kicking coach. If it's your junior college coach, it may be the position coach at the university that you're trying to go to. He has to run you up the ladder to the defensive or offensive coordinator, who has to run you up the ladder to the head coach possibly. So somebody is going to have to stand on the table and say, hey, that young man's reputation is X. That young man's reputation is this. And whatever they come back with is going to be the legs you have to stand on to grab that scholarship offer over the next kid. What is your reputation going to stand for when these coaches do their due diligence? They have to do their due diligence. When you were looking for a high school, you got to decide where you were going to go. It don't work that way from here on out. Some of you guys may very well be fortunate, and it's going to be a minuscule amount of you that will be fortunate enough to pick and choose where you want to go. But if you're like me, or you're like 99% of the other guys who want to play college football, then you're probably not going to fully get to choose where you want to go. You'll have some options and you choose out of those options, but it's not just going to be, I can go anywhere in the country. So when it gets to the point that you're looking over options, the options that are going to be on your plate are going to be the ones that your reputation help you get. Now, the reputation can be a few different things, you guys. It could be what you've done on the field. And obviously, they're not going to worry about your grades or your social habits if what you're putting forth on your huddle film isn't legit. So it definitely is your reputation on the field. Are you known as a tough player? Are you known as someone with a motor? Are you known as a great teammate? Are you known as somebody that practices hard? These are the things that build your reputation. These are the things that people are going to be asked about you. We get asked about with the players that are a part of the Before You Go Pro recruiting and mentoring program. We have to stand on behalf of that player. So if we talk to a college football coach, if I talk to Coach Cormier at New Mexico State, if I talk to Coach Nurse, who's now at Montana, I've got to stand on what I'm telling him about this player. I've got to build the kid's reputation up so that he's like, oh, that's the type of player I want. So when he looks at the film, he's making up his mind and evaluating what he has on film, what he can see with his eyeballs. But somebody else is going to have to talk about all of the other things that make you worth it. That make you worth it. You guys, they're only going to bring in 20 to 30 kids each year. And depending on the college, they're only going to bring in probably about 8 to 12 high school kids if you're a high school kid watching this. So what makes you worthy of being one of the 8 to 12 high school kids that Georgia Tech's going to bring in, that Colorado's going to bring in, that the University of Arizona or Hawaii is going to bring in? What makes you worthy of being one of the 8 to 12? If you get high numbers nowadays for D1 programs looking for high school kids, high numbers are like 15. Back in my day, University of Colorado, we signed 28 kids, I believe, when I came out of high school the year I graduated. 25 to 28 kids, and only one or two was a junior college player. There was no portal. So everybody was shopping at the high schools. Now, when they shop at the high school, they're only looking for 8. They're only looking for 10 or 12. So is your reputation worth recruiting? It better be airtight. It better be airtight. And they're going to try to figure out what's your athletic reputation, what's your social reputation, what's your academic reputation. They're going to do their due diligence. You know why? Because this is business. We need to probably stop calling it scholarships. This is you getting a job. When you get a scholarship, that's a fancy word to say you got a job offer. And job offers don't come easy, you guys. If you're dealing with a position coach that's making high six figures, you're dealing with a coordinator that's making $1 million at the FBS level, then you're an employee. You're working to help these gentlemen further their careers. So they're going to do their due diligence. Is your reputation worth recruiting? So let's talk some practicality, you guys, because what are we doing? Depending on when you're watching this, we're in the off season. This is early March. You guys are getting ready for unofficial visits. A lot of you guys are already going on visits. And also what? We're going to get into the camp season. So when we talk about a reputation worth recruiting, you guys, there's a lot of layers to a reputation worth recruiting. And we want you to optimize all of them. So when you are in the classroom, there's a reputation that's being built. Your teacher's watching you. When you are on the practice field, there's a reputation that's being built. When you're playing against opponents, there's a reputation that's being built. A lot of times, schools will ask your opponents about you, or they'll ask the opponents, hey, who did you like? Who did you see this season? So there's a reputation. And then the coach might say, hey, man, there's this one kid that we played against. He was tough as nails. We beat him, but that kid was unstoppable. That's called reputation, you guys. Here's another one, and I'm going to leave you guys with this because I want you thinking business savvy. That's what the Weekday Huddle is all about. Us being able to huddle up and make sure that we're business savvy for this industry, because that's going to set you apart. And now being set apart could be worth money even in college, you guys. So that's what this is all about. Coach Wood's going to be on fire this week because I want you guys to separate. But here's the other one that you guys probably don't think about a lot. Your reputation is even in your demeanor. Your demeanor, you guys. So a lot of you guys are going to be on college campuses. You already have started, or you will be very soon. You could be an underclassman. Maybe you're only a sophomore, a freshman. You find yourself at a camp. You find yourself on a college campus. How do you handle yourself on that campus? Are you just wearing slides? And do you have your pants sagging? Do you have a bonnet on? Do you have a do-rag? How do you handle yourself on campus? Are you cussing? Are you loud? Because if you're doing things that aren't protecting your reputation, then guess what? We move on. We move on. This is too competitive. So everything, you guys, has to be airtight, especially in the day and age. All of you guys are talking about you want to go play D1. And guess what? D2, D3, all of these schools got ballers. All of these schools have options on who they bring onto their campus, who they give a golden ticket to. Everybody's got options. And once again, only 20 to 30 coming through the door. So if I can be choosy, all of these coaches, all of these player personnel peoples, all of these scouts, recruiters, they can be choosy. If I can be choosy, why choose you? Is your reputation worth recruiting? So hopefully you guys get something out of this episode of the Weekday Huddle. This one's important, you guys. This one's important because you don't get a ticket through the door unless your reputation is right. And we already talked about talent tolerance. If I start to Yelp you, if I start to ask people about you, I ask the custodian, I ask the teacher, I ask the athletic director, I ask your teammates about you, and the reviews come back so-so, then that means your talent has to be a lot higher for me to continue. It has to be a lot higher because I don't have to. I could go to the next school with a kid that's just like you or better, and his reputation is airtight. So you guys keep that in mind. I think it was Coach Carter, who's now at Sac State. I think it was him, but there was one time we used to do college tours with Before You Go Pro. And I was bringing, at the time, where was he at? He was at San Jose State. And I was bringing some athletes to San Jose State. And there was a moment where he had them in the meeting room. And it was just Coach Carter talking to the Before You Go Pro athletes that were on this college tour. And he explained how he was a high school coach. And he had a college coach come. I think he was from Washington or something. And the kids didn't see his Washington logo, or he didn't have it on. He didn't have his jacket on. He didn't have a Washington hoodie on. They didn't know he was from Washington. And the kids were horsing around and playing around and cussing and being loud and wild. And then the coach came and met Coach Carter. And then he went to go introduce the coach to the kid that he wanted to talk to him about. And the coach said, no, that's the kid that was out there acting wild. That was the kid that was out there. No, I don't want him. He wasn't looking right. He had his dreads were funky. It just was not a good reputation. It was not a good package. And sometimes you only get one shot. You guys, it's too competitive. Sometimes you only get one shot. So that's what this is all about. The Weekday Huddle is to give you some food for thought, some things that you might not be thinking of, because I don't want you guys to miss your opportunity. Keep everything airtight. You may be playing another sport, basketball, baseball, or track, and somehow the coach asks about the coach from your other sport. What's your reputation gonna be? Is your reputation worth recruiting? As the great Brandon Huffman would say. And you guys know he's in the media with Rivals and used to be with 24/7 Sports. So they are constantly talking to people about prospects and about their demeanor and about how they handle themselves. They're constantly watching you at these showcases and these camps because they need to talk to people about you and your reputation. So keep that in mind. Your reputation is going to be worth money to you guys. And in this day and age, it's called NIL. All right. So hit that subscribe button. We are very close, you guys, to 1,000 subscribers, which is huge. A huge feat on YouTube for us. We've been working hard. That is a great way for you to say, hey, we love the content and keep it coming, Coach Wood. And we want to get it out to more people. So please make sure that you subscribe. Please make sure that you share. And please make sure you come back tomorrow. I'm Coach Wood. This is the Weekday Huddle. We'll see you at the top.